So welcome back. I'm here in winter camp again, and it's substantially colder than it was the last time I was here. But a lot colder. With the wind out there today, it was certainly below zero. But the one thing, I'm in the Colorado Rockies, and the sunshine, when we have the sun, which usually if it's not snowing, it's usually sunny. It's amazing the difference that sitting out in the sun makes. And places that don't have a lot of sun, like Minnesota, you don't. Excuse me. You don't have this strong sun that we have. And what I will tell you is I brought my warmer coat along this trip. I usually wear this little black thinner coat. The difference it makes when you wear black is it's amazing. It's really, really amazing. Red makes for better pictures, and all of my outdoor gear used to be red, like this jacket, but I really like black. But we did pretty good fishing. I didn't get any film of fish today, and I was going to set up my tripod. Fact is that the wind just kept blowing it over, and I didn't want my phone on that tripod and getting blown into the snow. So I didn't get any film of that. But I'm just having a little beverage here and going to be doing a cook in the bag meal. When I'm out like this, I tend to just do cook in the bag. I'm way back in. We still pull pretty heavy sleds, but I'm not 40 or even 50 anymore. I'm over 60, and so if I was way back in, I would not pull boil in the bag meals. I would definitely do dried meals and rehydrate them in a cooking pot. When you're at high altitude, your dried meals, you don't really hydrate well enough in those cook bags. You really need to cook your dried food in a pot, or you're going to be sorry. It isn't going to be reconstituted enough, and there is nothing that will make you an uncomfortable, bloated mess like dried food that isn't hydrated enough. I'm going to show you the stove setup here, and that's my favorite all-around cook pot. That's what I like. I brought a smaller little MSR for boiling up beverages and stuff. But in this pot, it's plenty big enough that I can put my bag meal in there and cover it and hydrate everything up. I got my camp boots on, which are just nylon mucklucks with heavy wool socks, and since I'm here alone, I can put all my stuff in here. You can still see that there's still a lot of room even with my stuff, and 3 things of firewood here and everything. Drying clothes out there. I'm warming my batteries up for my camera. But when I'm with somebody else, I just have my sled right outside here, and it's got a sled cover on it, and I would put all my extra stuff out there, and store it on my sled itself. And that brings me to a kind of a little safety message. They call this hot tinning. I never called it hot tinning in my life, but that's the term that everybody uses now. And so, but I've been doing wood stoves in tents, nylon tents, for at least 25 years, at least. And I first got the idea from a book by Steiger and Starkey. I think that's Paul Starkey, I think is his name. When they took their expedition to the North Pole with dogs. And I'm thinking, I can't remember what year that was, but they took their tents were North Face V24s, the ultimate dome tent of all time. And they had the big Chemituck sleds that were made out of wood. And they're made out of, like, I don't know, 2x10s or something like that. And so their plan was, one of the stoves was rigged up with the proper stove jacks for a wood stove, and the Ely High School shop class made them this wood stove, portable wood stove, and they, on a rest day or whatever, when they had to re-evaluate their supplies, they would cut the Chemitucks, the sleds, down, and then split all that wood up, and everybody would cram into one tent with the wood stove and warm up. And it must have been an incredible treat. I mean, imagine, if I recall, they had temperatures down to like 65, minus 65 Fahrenheit. It's unbelievably cold. It must have been horrendously difficult to have this heat in that tent from that wood stove, and then all of a sudden you don't have any more because you're out of wood. But that's when I first got the idea that you could safely do it. And I did a lot of test runs. And the tent that I'm in right now, I bought 2 of these tents, the Eureka Nightscape. And they were used, both of them were used. I got them from Sierra Outfitters when they just had a couple of stores, one in Sparks and one in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And anyway, they're absolutely great tents for wintertime. They're just awesome. They're a little heavy at 10 pounds, but they're really great. But you still have to be careful with a stove, wood stove, and a tent. And I'm talking about fire. You just got to be vigilant. You got to be careful. Nylon burns pretty slow. Siliconized nylon burns even slower than regular taffeta nylon or polyester, the polyester material that they use in some of the tents. But that said, generally, when I'm in way back in, I have supplies that remain on my sled, emergency clothing and everything, so that if I had to bail out of this tent, and I lose everything that's inside that tent, that I have something to keep me alive. Because if you're way back in and you lose your tent and you don't have anything, I don't think it's a stretch to say that you're dead. You're not going to get out of there alive, probably. And yeah, we all want to go, yeah, well, you know, I could build a big fire, and yeah, but what if you're on an 8-day trip and this is the first night of the trip? Nobody's even going to be looking for you for 8 days. So you're going to have to get firewood somehow. And so anyway, that's something to keep in mind. Have some supplies outside on your sled that would help you survive. And I'm not very impressed with the light from this lantern right now, to tell you the truth. And my eyes are so old I can't see anything without a lot of light anymore. Anyway, time to put a little more wood on this fire, and thanks for visiting me here in this winter camp.